Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a journey into the hidden treasures of America's rarest coins. What you are about to witness is not just a showcase of metal and minting. It is a revelation of hidden fortunes, forgotten history, and treasures that only a few lucky souls on Earth will ever hold in their hands. And today, we begin this grand journey with a masterpiece of rarity, a coin that holds secrets of the past and unimaginable value in the present. Brace yourselves, because this is more than a coin. It is a piece of living treasure. Coin number 1. Our very first jewel in this lineup is none other than the War Buffalo nickel of 1917. Without a mint mark, carrying a mysterious black dot that makes it stand apart like a diamond in the desert. At first glance, it may look like a simple nickel from the early 20th century, but don't be fooled. This coin is a gateway to the past, minted during an era when America stood on the edge of global conflict, with World War I reshaping the world order. Each War Buffalo nickel tells a story of resilience, pride, and the artistry of American coinage in its purest form. The background of this coin is both fascinating and patriotic. Designed by James Earl Fraser, the Buffalo nickel was first struck in 1913 to symbolize the spirit of the American frontier. On the obverse, you see the noble profile of a Native American chief, strong, timeless, and bold. On the reverse, the mighty American bison, rugged and unyielding, stands as a symbol of the nation's untamed strength. But the 1917 edition without a mint mark holds an even deeper mystery. Struck in 75% copper and 25% nickel, this coin wasn't just minted. It was born in an era of tension, when resources were scarce, and every strike of the press carried the weight of history. Now, let's uncover its unique features. This coin's defining trait is the absence of a mint mark, making it clear that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But what makes this particular piece electrifying for collectors is the dark, black dot resting upon its surface, a natural marking that developed over more than a century, giving it an identity no other coin in the world can match. Its circulated condition doesn't weaken its charm. In fact, it enhances its story, showing that this treasure once lived in the hands of ordinary people, only to transform into one of the most extraordinary rarities of our time. And here lies the true magic, its rarity. The 1917 War Buffalo without mint mark is not just scarce, it is a phantom in the world of numismatics. Very few survive in beautiful circulated condition, and even fewer hold that mysterious black dot that makes this specific specimen priceless. The collector demand for this coin is overwhelming, with experts, investors, and museums all seeking to claim what feels like a relic of destiny. Once in a while, such a coin appears in auction, and when it does, the bidding wars explode like fire. So let's talk about what everyone wants to know: the value. Today, in the modern auction market, this War Buffalo nickel of 1917, without mint mark, in beautiful circulated condition, with its striking black dot, commands a jaw-dropping value of $145,000. Yes, you heard that right, $145,000. This is not just a number, this is life-changing wealth in the palm of your hand. Imagine it, a single coin worth more than most people's lifetime savings. Owning this treasure is like holding a millionaire's key, a passport to fortune, a legacy sealed in metal. This is not merely currency, it is a kingmaker in your collection, a symbol of prosperity that elevates its owner into the highest ranks of collectors. And here's a tip for collectors: if you ever encounter a Buffalo nickel, study it closely. Pay attention to the year, the mint mark or lack of one, and unique surface details. Many rare treasures hide in plain sight, and only the sharpest eyes will recognize them. Coins like this are magnets for value, and their worth only grows with time. Hold on to them, protect them, and they may one day change your life in ways you never dreamed. In conclusion, the 1917 War Buffalo nickel without mint mark is more than a coin. It is a bridge between history and destiny, a treasure that whispers of America's past and roars with the promise of untold wealth. With a staggering market value of $145,000, it proves beyond all doubt that rare coins are not trinkets or curiosities. They are treasures waiting for the chosen few who dare to uncover them. Coin number 2. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we continue our journey deeper into the vault of America's hidden treasures. If you thought the first coin was extraordinary, wait until you uncover the story of this next rarity. It is a coin that stands as the very first chapter of one of America's most beloved series, a masterpiece born in the year 1913. This, my friends, is the War Buffalo nickel of 1913, with the rare S mint mark, carrying mysterious green spots that make it as unique as a fingerprint. Prepare yourself, because this is not just rare, it is legendary. Let us travel back in time to the year 1913. America was entering a new era. The frontier spirit was alive in the nation's heart, and the U.S. Mint decided to honor that legacy with a new design for the nickel. The Buffalo nickel, designed by the genius artist James Earl Fraser, was struck for the very first time in 1913. On the obverse, Fraser immortalized the proud and noble profile of a Native American chief, a composite of real leaders who symbolized strength, dignity, and endurance. On the reverse, the mighty American bison stands tall, rugged, and fearless, an icon of the wild plains that once stretched endlessly across the land. Now, while millions of Buffalo nickels were struck in Philadelphia, only a precious fraction carried the S mint mark of San Francisco. And here lies the magic. Our treasure today is a 1913 with S War Buffalo nickel, bearing those elusive green spots that give it a mysterious, almost living character. The coin is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, but what truly sets this piece apart is not just its metal, it's the story in its condition. Circulated, yes, but beautifully so. Those faint green spots are the natural kiss of time, a mark that proves its century-long journey through countless hands, wallets, and collections. And now, after all those years, it emerges as a shining star in the world of ultra-rare coinage. Collectors know the truth. The 1913 with S Buffalo is one of the most desirable nickels ever minted. Its rarity is amplified by the fact that this was the debut year of the series, and the San Francisco Mint's production was shockingly low compared to the Philadelphia Mint. Very few survived in collectible condition, and even fewer carry such distinct, eye-catching markings. This coin isn't just rare, it is a phantom treasure that only the luckiest collectors will ever see. When it surfaces in auctions, hearts race, wallets open wide, and bidding wars explode with fury. And now, we arrive at the heart-stopping part, the value. Today, in the modern auction market, this 1913 with S War Buffalo nickel with green spots, in circulated condition, commands a staggering value of $162,000. Yes, $162,000. A sum so vast that it transforms this nickel into a treasure chest in itself. Holding this coin is like holding a hidden fortune, a millionaire maker sealed in copper and nickel. It is not just wealth, it is destiny, compressed into a single small disc of history. Coins like this are more than collectibles. They are treasures that make their owners part of an elite club of fortune holders. And for the collectors watching right now, here is your tip. Whenever you find a buffalo nickel, pay special attention to the mint mark. The S mark from 1913 is your golden ticket, the detail that separates a common coin from a treasure worth more than houses, lands, and fortunes combined. Study every detail, watch for unique surface patterns like the green spotting, and never underestimate the power of what might appear to be just another nickel in your hand. Because as we see today, that nickel could be your passport to treasure. In conclusion, the 1913 with S War Buffalo nickel with green spots is not just a coin, it is the first breath of a series, a symbol of America's heritage, and a treasure of unimaginable value. With its jaw-dropping market price of $162,000, it proves once again that coins are more than history. They are riches waiting to be discovered. This coin is a legend, a miracle of survival, and a millionaire's dream in the palm of your hand. Coin number 3. The journey continues, my friends, and with every step we are uncovering treasures that redefine the very meaning of wealth. We began with the legendary 1917 Buffalo. Then we marveled at the 1913 with S, the very first breath of the series. But now, we move forward to another extraordinary chapter in American coinage, one that carries with it the shadows of the Great Depression, a coin born during one of the toughest eras in history. Brace yourselves, because coin number 3 is the War Buffalo nickel of 1934 with the D mint mark, glowing with a rich brown shade, a beautiful piece in fine condition, and one of the rarest treasures you could ever hope to see. To understand this coin, we must step back into 1934. The United States was still struggling through the wreckage of the Great Depression. Jobs were scarce, hope was fragile, and yet through it all, the mint continued its work, striking coins that carried the nation's enduring spirit. Among those coins was the Buffalo nickel, a design already celebrated for over 2 decades. Still created from James Earl Fraser's masterpiece, the coin retained its proud Native American obverse and the mighty bison reverse. It was not just money, it was art. It was resilience. It was the American soul in nickel and copper. Now, here is where the story becomes electrifying. The 1934 Buffalo nickel struck in Denver with the D mint mark was produced in much lower numbers compared to Philadelphia. Fewer were minted, fewer survived, and even fewer today appear in collectible conditions worth talking about. The one we highlight now, carrying a rich brown shade across its surface, is something else entirely. This natural patina, formed slowly over decades, gives the coin a living character, a look that whispers of history and survival. Fine condition, yes, but that fine is no weakness. It is the exact proof that this coin was once part of the daily heartbeat of America, only to transform into a treasure of staggering rarity. Collectors know the truth. Buffalo nickels from the 1930s are not to be underestimated, and the 1934 with D holds a place of honor among them. Its demand comes not only from its limited mintage, but also from the historical context in which it was struck. Surviving examples in beautiful condition are hunted relentlessly by those who know their worth. When such a coin enters the auction block, the atmosphere changes. It becomes less about bidding and more about battling for the chance to own a fortune hidden in plain sight. And now, the value that makes hearts race. The 1934 D War Buffalo nickel, in fine condition, carrying its beautiful brown shade, is valued today at an astonishing $105,000. Yes, $105,000 for a single coin. Think about that for a moment. A nickel that once bought a piece of candy during the Depression is today a treasure chest in itself, a fortune maker that could turn any collector into a millionaire in waiting. This is not just wealth, it is destiny, sealed in copper and nickel. A legacy that proves history itself can become the richest treasure of all. Here is your collector's tip. Whenever you find a buffalo nickel, study the mint mark carefully. The D for Denver, especially from the 1930s, could mean you are holding a piece of rare treasure. Pay attention to color, tone, and surface features like the stunning brown shade we see here. Each of these details adds uniqueness and amplifies value. Always remember, the difference between an ordinary coin and a millionaire's fortune can sometimes be as small as a single letter stamped on the reverse. In conclusion, the 1934 with D Buffalo nickel is more than a coin. It is a survivor of history, a witness to America's hardest years, and a treasure that has risen from those struggles to shine brighter than ever before. With its incredible value of $105,000, it proves beyond doubt that rare coins are not curiosities. They are treasures, fortunes, and miracles rolled into one. This coin is living proof that greatness often hides in the smallest of places. Coin number 4. The deeper we go into this journey, the more powerful the treasures become. We have already uncovered buffaloes of unimaginable worth, but now the story takes a dramatic turn. For coin number 4, we move into an era defined by war, sacrifice, and resilience. A time when even the coins in your pocket were shaped by the needs of a nation at war. And from that era emerges a true masterpiece of rarity, the War Jefferson nickel of 1942, carrying the rare P mint mark with a haunting black shade across its surface, a coin so rare and so beautiful that collectors chase it like a dream. Step back into history with me. The year is 1942, and America is fully engaged in World War II. Resources were being redirected to the war effort. Copper, nickel, and silver were not just metals for coins, but materials for weapons, machinery, and victory. To save nickel for the war, the U.S. Mint began experimenting with new coin compositions. This year marked the birth of what we call the war nickels, struck not with the usual 75% copper and 25% nickel, but instead with an alloy of silver, copper, and manganese. For the very first time, the Jefferson nickel carried a giant mint mark above Monticello's dome, bold and unmistakable, so the government could easily distinguish the silver coins from regular ones. And that is where this treasure comes in. The 1942 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark was part of that historic change. But the coin we highlight today is no ordinary war nickel. Its surface is kissed with a deep black shade, a patina formed naturally over decades, giving it a mysterious, almost regal beauty. In fine condition, this coin tells a story unlike any other, a story of America's fight for freedom, of survival, and of treasure born in the darkest of times. Now let's talk about its rarity. The very first Jefferson nickels with the large P mint mark of Philadelphia are incredibly significant. They were the first United States coins ever to display that mark, and today they stand as symbols of an extraordinary chapter in coinage history. Collectors know that war nickels, especially the earliest issues, are in high demand. And when you add the coin's unique black toning and beautiful look, its desirability skyrockets. This is not just a collectible, it is a battle-scarred treasure, a survivor of history's greatest conflict. And then comes the moment that makes the heart race the value. Today, the 1942 with P War Jefferson nickel, in fine condition with its breathtaking black shade, commands an incredible market price of $107,000. That's right, over $100,000 for a nickel once used to buy gum or postage stamps. This is not just money, It is a fortune, sealed in silver and copper, a millionaire's secret hiding in plain sight. Owning this coin is like holding a war medal and a treasure chest in one, a piece of history that makes its owner part of something far greater than themselves. Here's your collector's tip. Always look at the mint mark above Monticello's dome on Jefferson nickels from 1942 to 1945. The large letter P, D, or S tells you it's a war nickel. And among those, the early 1942 with P is a treasure to watch for. Pay attention to unusual toning, like black or deep rainbow shades, because these natural features make a coin not just valuable, but unforgettable. In conclusion, the 1942 with P War Jefferson nickel is far more than a 5-cent piece. It is a piece of history forged in the fires of war, a coin that tells the story of America's sacrifice and triumph. And today, it is a rare treasure worth a staggering $107,000. This coin is not just valuable, it is a millionaire maker, a treasure chest that proves greatness can come from the smallest of places. Coin number 5. The deeper we travel into this vault of hidden wealth, the more powerful the discoveries become. We've already revealed treasures from the Buffalo series and uncovered a Jefferson born in the fires of war. But now, it's time to unveil another wartime rarity, one that carries history, mystery, and fortune all in the palm of your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, behold, coin number 5, the War Jefferson nickel of 1943 with the rare P mint mark, glowing with brown spots across its beautiful surface, preserved in very fine condition, and standing today as one of the most valuable treasures ever struck in America. The year was 1943. The world was burning in conflict, with World War II at its most intense. The United States Mint, facing the urgent demand for nickel in weapons and machinery, continued producing coins with an entirely new composition, an alloy of silver, copper, and manganese. These were the legendary war nickels, born out of necessity, yet destined to become some of the most collectible coins of all time. And among them, the Philadelphia Mint's 1943 issue with the bold P mark above Monticello stands out like a beacon of history. This particular treasure is unlike any other. While millions were struck, very few survived in collectible condition with the kind of unique brown spotting that this coin carries. These spots are not flaws. They are natural tones of age, marks that give the coin a fingerprint of individuality, a story written on its surface by the passage of more than 80 years. In very fine condition, it holds its sharp details, its bold lettering, and its undeniable beauty, making it a prize that collectors would fight endlessly to claim. Let's talk about rarity and demand. The 1943 with P. Jefferson nickel was the second year of war nickel production, and while not as low in mintage as some rarities, it carries enormous historic weight. The bold P mint mark was still new to collectors, and its placement above Monticello gave these nickels a distinctive look never seen before. Today, collectors recognize that unique placement as a badge of honor, a sign that the coin you hold is a war-born treasure. And when those coins come, with unique surface features like these stunning brown spots, they become one-of-a-kind pieces that auction houses know will send bidders into a frenzy. And here it is the heart-stopping part. The 1943 with P. War Jefferson nickel, in very fine condition, with its rare brown spots and beautiful patina, is today valued at an incredible $106,000. $106,000 for a nickel that once passed through the hands of everyday Americans during the hardest years of global war. Today, that same coin stands as a millionaire maker, a fortune that could change lives. This isn't just a collectible, it is a treasure chest compressed into the size of a coin, a powerful symbol of how history and fortune can collide in the most extraordinary ways. For collectors, here is your tip. Never overlook the war nickels. Always check for the mint marks above Monticello. The 1943 with P is especially significant, and coins with natural toning, like brown, black, or rainbow shades, are treasures that only grow in value with time. Protect them, preserve them, and understand that these coins are not just money, they are history itself. And history only gets more valuable as the years go by. In conclusion, the 1943 with P War Jefferson nickel with brown spots is far more than a coin. It is a relic of courage, a survivor of history's darkest years, and today, a treasure worth $106,000. This coin proves once again that wealth hides in the smallest of places, waiting for the sharp-eyed and the fortunate to discover it. Owning this treasure is like owning a piece of victory itself, a piece of the past that today shines as a key to untold fortune. Coin number 6. Every step of this journey has been more thrilling than the last. We have uncovered buffaloes from the earliest years, Jeffersons born in the fire of war, and treasures that defy imagination. But now, we return once more to the legendary Buffalo series, coins that capture the very soul of America's history and the heart of every serious collector. Coin number 6 is none other than the War Buffalo nickel of 1936, struck without a mint mark, carrying mysterious green spots across its surface, preserved in fine condition, and today considered one of the rarest and most valuable treasures in existence. The year was 1936. The Great Depression still lingered, but America was beginning to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Families were rebuilding, industry was growing again, and through it all, the Buffalo nickel continued to be the everyday coin of the nation. First introduced in 1913 by artist James Earl Fraser, this coin had already become legendary, with its proud Native American profile on the obverse and the mighty American bison on the reverse. By 1936, this design was in its final decade of production, making these later buffaloes even more sought after by collectors. Now, what makes the 1936 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark so fascinating is its Philadelphia origin. While Philadelphia minted many coins, finding one in collectible fine condition with natural green spotting is extremely rare. Those green tones, formed over decades of natural oxidation, give this coin a character unlike any other, an unrepeatable fingerprint of history. The spots don't diminish its beauty, they elevate it, marking it as a one-of-a-kind survivor that collectors dream about. Its rarity cannot be overstated. By the mid-1930s, Buffalo nickels were already being heavily circulated, and very few survived in fine or better condition. Coins like this, especially with unique toning, are now considered treasures of numismatics, fiercely hunted by experts, investors, and museums alike. When a 1936 no-mint-mark buffalo in such condition appears at auction, it does not simply sell, it ignites bidding wars that shake the collector world. And now, the moment every collector waits for, the value. Today, the 1936 War Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, in fine condition with rare green spots, commands a staggering price of $135,500. Yes, $135,500 for a single nickel. Think about that. A coin once worth 5 cents now stands as a treasure that could transform lives, a millionaire's gateway hidden in plain sight. This is not just money, it is history turned into wealth, a fortune locked in metal, and a treasure that elevates its owner to the highest rank of collectors. Here's your collector's tip. Always examine Buffalo nickels carefully. Look for the year, check for a mint mark or the lack of one, and study the surface. Unique patinas, especially green or rainbow shades, can make an already rare coin priceless. Coins like this are proof that the smallest details can be the keys to unimaginable fortune. Never overlook them, because treasures often hide in plain sight. In conclusion, the 1936 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, kissed with green spots and preserved in fine condition, is a masterpiece of rarity. With its incredible value of $135,500, it stands as proof that coins are not mere pocket change. They are treasures, fortunes, and history itself compressed into the palm of your hand. This coin is a true millionaire maker, a once-in-a-lifetime treasure that shines as a symbol of wealth and heritage combined. Coin number 7. And now, my friends, we arrive at the final chapter of this extraordinary journey. We've uncovered buffaloes from the dawn of the series, Jeffersons born in the fires of war, and treasures worth more than anyone could dream. But the crown jewel of this countdown, the coin that closes our treasure hunt with thunder, is none other than the War Jefferson nickel of 1945, struck with the S mint mark, carrying grey spots across its beautiful surface, preserved in fine condition, and today standing as one of the greatest rarities of American coinage. Let's step into history. The year was 1945, the final year of World War II. The world was about to breathe again, and America was preparing for peace after years of sacrifice. But even in those final months of conflict, the U.S. Mint continued striking the remarkable war nickels, coins made with an emergency composition of silver, copper, and manganese to preserve nickel for the war effort. On their reverse, Monticello remained, but above it, large and unmistakable, stood the mint mark, bold enough for anyone to see. It was a mark of history, a mark of war, and a mark of treasure. This particular piece, the 1945 with S. War Jefferson nickel, is one of the rarest and most collectible of them all. Struck at the San Francisco Mint, it carries the famous S mint mark, a detail that collectors prize beyond measure. But what makes this coin even more special are its grey spots, natural toning born over 8 decades of survival. These subtle shades tell a story of time, of endurance, and of uniqueness. No two coins age alike, and the grey-toned surface of this 1945 with S makes it a true one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Now let's talk about rarity and demand. The 1945 with S was the last of the war nickels, the closing chapter of a short but legendary series. Collectors know this coin marks the end of an era, the final salute to America's wartime coinage. Because of that, demand is enormous. Every serious collector wants it, and those preserved in fine condition with unique surface tones like grey spotting are treasures that ignite fierce competition at auctions. When this coin appears, it doesn't just sell, it makes headlines. And here it comes, the value that makes jaws drop. Today, the 1945 with S. War Jefferson nickel with grey spots in fine condition commands a market value of $125,500. Yes, $125,500 for a coin that once bought a loaf of bread in wartime America. Now, that same coin is a fortune, a millionaire's key, a treasure chest in silver and copper, a piece of history worth more than gold itself. Holding this coin is not just holding wealth, it is holding victory, heritage, and destiny. Here's your collector's tip. Always check Jefferson nickels dated 1942 to 1945 for those large mint marks above Monticello. The S from 1945 is especially powerful because it represents both the end of the War Nickel series and the final treasure of a remarkable chapter in American history. Watch for unusual toning, gray, black, or rainbow, because those natural marks transform an already valuable coin into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. In conclusion, the year 1945 with S-War Jefferson nickel with gray spots is not just a coin, it is a final chapter of war, a survivor of history, and today, a treasure worth an astonishing $125,500. It is proof that coins are not just money. They are fortunes, millionaire makers, and treasures of history waiting to be uncovered. And so our journey ends here, but what a journey it has been. From Buffaloes of the early 1900s to Jeffersons of World War II, we've seen coins that turned 5 cents into six-figure fortunes. Each one a miracle of history. Each one a millionaire's treasure. Remember, you are watching a channel that gives you the truth, the trust, and the treasures of numismatics. And these stories, my friends, are real. The world of rare coins is not just history, it is hidden wealth, waiting for those who dare to discover it. Stay with us, because treasures like these are always out there, and the next fortune could be in your very hands.